Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I am not Dr. JACALYN, just in case you feel that you've gone on the wrong show. My name is Ian Pelham-Turner, but welcome to the United Kingdom News and Cultural Show. We still have some wonderful guests on today as well, and JACALYN is hopefully working behind the scenes, helping me at the same time. So can I introduce the guests that we have today? Some wonderful guests, starting with the incredible, the best author in the world for children's books. How can I describe it other than Diann BOEHM? Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Hi, this is Helena Chard from North London.
Oh,
hello, Mr. Pelham. How are you, Mr. Pelham-Turner? Lovely to see you.
I was okay. I'm slightly bemused at the moment because I thought Diana was coming on first, and I think we've lost the connection somewhere.
Not to worry, not to worry. Here we are.
This is going to be fun this afternoon, isn't it, Helena?
It is.
This is where we call in the the business of technical hitch. but don't worry, we've worked like this before. We can carry this on. So hopefully, is Janetta Barry? Is she in the room?
Yes, of course.
Ta-da!
There we go. Thank goodness.
Janetta.
Well, for one terrible minute, I thought we were going.
Everybody's gone.
Well, this is going to be a fun show this afternoon. Well, I thank God my heart pacemaker's got new batteries. That's all I can say.
Well, I'm just going to say hello to you both. It's such a pleasure to be with you all, and hello to all our viewers and listeners out there, because it's such a delight to be with you again. And I'm so looking forward to sharing and listening and being with you again.
Oh, that's lovely. Where are you, Janetta? Where are you based?
Right now, I'm in the middle of the Great Rift Valley, overlooking a lake filled with hippopotamus and a semi-extinct volcano. So that's where I am. It doesn't look like it, does it?
It doesn't. How amazing.
Can I just, is Diann here yet, please? Is Diann?
No, she's not here apparently. She's not yet. She's lost contact.
Okay, right. Well, this is going to be interesting. So anyway, on with the show. So as always, Janetta, what we normally do is Diana or Helen, I should say, starts off the show. I'm all of a fluster now. This has caught me unawares this afternoon. So Helena normally starts off with some royal news. So perhaps, Helena, over to you as I get my magic wand out and try and work out what's going on.
Goodness me. Anyway, it's so lovely that we're all together today. Fabulous. So this is obviously UK news and culture, and not just royal news. I think it's just lovely to have some positive news, some feel-good news, and just some news just to learn about what's going on in the UK. And that's why it's so lovely having Janetta with us as well to share her news shortly. But I think I'm actually going to start off with something a little bit fun, which I found amusing, which happened the other day. I mean, we're known in the UK for doing fun, quintessentially English things. And recently it's been like a cheese race, it's called, in Gloucestershire. And it's a place called Brockworth in Gloucestershire. And each year this cheese race happens. It's actually really quite frightening in a way, and it's quite dangerous because the whole idea is it's a round cheese. It's something like 7 to 9 pounds, and it's rolled down the hill, and it's the first person to actually chase this cheese and get down to the other end that wins an award. And this year a woman won. She travelled to the UK, I think from Canada, and she actually managed to knock herself out. She woke up in a sort of medical room, was absolutely thrilled when she came round to find out that she'd won. But I mean, literally, this hill is this, it's like this complete, I mean, steeper than most skiing hills, and people just hurl themselves down it. It's known really well abroad. People travel from, I think this year people travel from Switzerland, Canada, Japan, just to be part of this cheese rolling session. So completely mad. But I mean, I think the good thing about it is it puts Brockworth in Gloucestershire on the map. And you know, people just love cheese. What can I say? So I thought that was just a bit of a fun one.
Absolutely. What do you think about this latest story with Harry as well? I'm getting calls coming in from America, especially at the moment, saying that Harry didn't really want to be a royal for a long time now, and that was the thought process. Well, how do you feel?
Well, I think it was well known. I think I don't see how this is a new phenomenon, because this has been discussed for quite a while. And I think one of the thoughts, I think a while back, was that, you know, in a way, marrying somebody that he'd fall in love with that would take him away from the royal family, in fact, is something.
Oh. I think we have some gremlins this afternoon. My screen is frozen. Did you know this is not some sort of trial by television, is it, this afternoon for me?
I don't think so.
I offered to do a cabaret earlier. I could still do one.
I've got three frozen screens at the moment. So I presume we're on air, and I presume I'm moving around, but I can't tell. Is Helena back?
No, but I'm here.
So is that Diann?
And this is Diann. I'm not sure what happened. It must have been a Texas free-for-all.
Okay, because I haven't. All I've got is three frozen screens, and I haven't got you up on screen.
Well, you're doing great. And the cheese thing I saw and read about that. That is so exciting. I would love to be there in person and watching that cheese. But
I don't think it's mad. When you actually watch the video, it's like, woo! It's scary. Madness.
So is that Helena back?
Yes. But she's gone now.
Oh, this is going to be fun. You know, this. So anyway, if I can just go back to Helena for a second, please, Diann. And so what do you think about the Harry situation? That I mean, I had Fox News on to me last night again, sort of saying, what did I think about things? I always felt that after Cressida, his girlfriend, 2012, 2014, and make that work, that after that, he always felt that it's going to be very hard for him to find anywhere or anybody to actually marry whilst he was a member of the royal family. How did you feel?
Well, my feeling, I'm not too sure if you caught anything that I said earlier, but I felt this for a long time with Harry. I thought it was quite documented that he was not really wanting to be part of the royal family, to be quite honest. And to give my exact thoughts, I mean, I sort of don't really want to share it completely, but I just feel this is something that was known. I understand that obviously, you know, he's not going to be king, and I think if he was different in line, you know, and he was going to be king, I think it would be a very different story. But I don't think his personality suits not to be the heir as such.
Okay.
That's my feeling. What do you think?
Well, I'm just going to pass the thought over to Dianne, because I remember a few years ago, Dianne, an American magazine that did an interview with Charles when he was still Prince of Wales. And Charles confessing he wasn't sure that he wanted to become king either. So what's the American feeling? Is the American feeling that at the moment the royal family are what we call in Britain sixes and sevens? They don't know what they're going to do next.
Well, I would like to, I'm not speaking for all Americans, but from the people that I know, you have two camps, the Harry and Meghan camp and not so much Harry and Meghan camp. I think there are many, many people who absolutely love the royals. They couldn't, no one for the most part could think of any other royals in the world. There's only one royal family, and that's that of England, and one Queen Elizabeth II. So there's a lot of love. People, of course, have followed Harry and William their whole life, and our hearts were broken when Princess Diana passed. And we love the boys, and it's tragic to see Harry not feeling how blessed he is to be part of the royal family. We have things that we don't understand when we're brought on this earth, and trials and tribulations. And there's a lot that he could be offering to the world as a member of the royal family. So I personally wish he would get his act together, if that's all right to say, and figure out a way to make amends and join the family and realize how blessed he is to be part of that family.
I totally agree. Amen to that. Janetta, in your part of the world, how's the royal family seen at the moment, and do they take on board King Charles?
I think generally it is a taking on board. It's not as close to their hearts as, say, US or UK or Europe or the rest of the world, from what I can gather. Everybody's getting on with their lives here. But there is a general feeling of what I get is yeah, it's nice and it's part of Britain, but we're not part of Britain. And yeah, it's okay. There's an acceptance, but not a huge following, I should say. And possibly quite a few people who just feel, I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day whose daughters are in their teens, just feeling that it's a defunct system and it doesn't work. So I think there's a whole cross section here, but not a huge, deep feeling. It doesn't hit the papers as easily as it does in the rest of the world.
But I think, I mean, I've heard that there's more African countries thinking about joining the Commonwealth now. Do you think that is a feasible thing, or do you think that's just purely a rumor?
Well, I mean, some of them have been talking about leaving, but I would imagine that there are some who are seeing the benefits of countries like Kenya, who are part of the Commonwealth, going, this makes so much sense, because as a team, as a group, we can achieve so much more and be more united. And to be under the auspices of the royal family and UK just makes so much sense. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if more African countries are saying, well, even though some are going, no, we want to move out. I just think it makes sense. It's such a wonderful way to collaborate. Yeah.
So coming back to Helena again, Helena, do you have more royal news? Is there more royal stories?
There is. No, absolutely.
Surprises.
Yeah, no, there is more royal news. I just wanted to say that the late Princess Diana, obviously the boy's mother, she commented years ago about Harry, and that he would struggle within the royal family. So that I remember that's been documented. So anyway, just wanted to share that. But I mean, there's been lots of fun things happening royal family wise. You're definitely wanting royal at the moment, aren't you, Ian? But I think I'll mention about the special parade that took place in Windsor. Windsor, I think that was yesterday. It was at Windsor Castle. Beautiful. Do you know, Windsor Castle, having been there a few times, is absolutely stunning. I really, really love it. But this ceremony took place, and it was King Charles III who presented the Royal Navy with the Royal Victorian Order honours. Now, this was in recognition for all of their, a great role that they played at the Queen Elizabeth at their funeral procession, and they did a sterling job. And yeah, lovely to see them recognised, and it was actually quite fun if anyone saw the moving imagery of it, to see that one of the ladies who served was actually quite pregnant, and her outfit didn't fit her. It's not made for her size, so she had all of her garb on, but she had like a blue pretty summer dress on, so it was quite funny to see her heavily pregnant stood there. But it was a lovely sunny day for all, and obviously family and them, they felt very, very proud to have done such a great job. And it's lovely, isn't it, to reward people for good work. I mean, taking it into every single vein of life. I think it's a wonderful thing to be acknowledged when you've done something well. So yes, that was a great story. And just a funny little one was King Charles and Camilla have been in Northern Ireland and doing a sterling job, charm offensive, meeting the people and seeing all the good that people do, and just going in and shaking hands and chatting to people, finding out what they do. But it was a funny time as well, where they met some school children, which is always lovely, but they actually met their namesakes. And this was a young boy and girl, 8 years old, from a local primary school, who was so excited to be meeting the King and Queen. And so their names were Charles and Camilla, and they were 8 years old, and they'd made their own crowns. And these were made of paper crowns, but they were imitations of the coronation crowns. And obviously, they shook hands, lovely to meet you. And it was just a really fun little moment. And these children, you can imagine, little Charles and Camilla will have this memory forever. Such fun, so nice. So sweet.
I just have to interject as well, because we haven't introduced our food item. We traditionally talk about food every week on the show, and just for people who are visiting Windsor, across the street from Windsor Castle is the best sweet shop there is, I think, in Britain, and they do the best toffees. I just have to sort of say that, because it's one of those things we normally talk about each week. So Janetta, please talk about your forthcoming event, please.
Oh, well, World Jenny's Day. Thank you, Ian. It's something so very close to my heart. World Jenny's Day is actually a year filled with happenings towards mental health, wellness. And it was created after I lost my daughter, Jenny. She was 16. After she and I had an argument, and she took herself off and said she was leaving home. And when I did find her, I found she'd taken her own life. And it was a huge thing to work through. And that's another story for another time. But what we did realize was that Jenny had died on the 10th of October, which is World Mental Health Day. So we now have World Jenny's Day on World Mental Health Day. And the day itself is like a celebration of a whole year of happenings. And we're running 24 hours streaming online all around the world with USA Global TV, with performing artists, because when one's in one's creative zone, spirits are lifted, and one can start reasoning from a more balanced place. And I really believe that's the most natural way to bring depression up to a more manageable state. So we have people all around the world performing over that time, and then a gala evening in London that evening from 6 in the evening through to 10. So we're starting at 10 o'clock in the morning on the 10th of the 10th in New Zealand, going all around the world and finishing at 10 p.m. on the 10th of the 10th in UK in London.
Janetta, how important do you think it is to unite people across the world who are suffering from the same issues in life and to give them hope and encouragement?
I think it's vital. I think there are so many places around the world where there's even more taboo about depression and suicide than there is in the West. Kenya is an example that there's an ancient British law here that decrees that anybody who survives suicide has committed a crime and it's punishable with imprisonment. And that came from the British rule. It used to be in UK as well, and it was archaic and moved out the way, but it's still here. I know Japan has a very, very difficult time with young people and depression and suicide. So I think, I don't think, I know that the more that we unite in changing and normalizing conversations around the world about depression and suicide, the more our hearts will open and people can start then working from a more natural place. And I really do believe that being in your creative zone really helps. Yeah,
thank you. Helena, you're very involved in obviously mental health activities around. It's one of the things I know that you like to work with and support, especially. How important is it, things like World Gender Day?
Oh, it's enormously important. I mean, obviously this is Janetta's Barry's day. It's World Jenny's Day, which is incredibly important. I think it's quite apt as well that it's mental health. I think it's still Mental Health Awareness Month. I think we're just on the last day, if I'm correct. So it's great to be able to talk about mental health. And the thought, I mean, celebrating creativity around the world and celebrating being able to use creativity by way of talking about mental health. I mean, it's so important. And I know Janetta, she puts on some fabulous fundraisers and really is so energetic in the way that she goes about everything. And obviously with this event that's coming into play soon. I mean, personally, I know Janetta behind the scenes, you are a grief coach, and you've got so much that you do, like the epiphany process and various things, and you've helped so many people. So obviously World Jenny's Day, which is something each year, it means a huge amount, and obviously everyone talking and normalizing mental health awareness and just sort of saying, look, it's okay, and obviously doing it through creativity. It's what we need to do. We are so advanced now to where we were, let's say, I don't know, even a few years ago, but still we have to keep it going. It's like a muscle memory, keep on talking about it, keep things going. And this is what Janetta does with World Jenny's Day. Yeah,
going back to Janetta a minute. In Britain right now, we've got a controversy anyway, because now the Metropolitan Police in London are saying they're not going to get involved in mental health matters unless it's critical. And up till now, if people have been showing mental health issues on the pavement or outdoors, the police have normally been called to either to section them in the end. But now they are saying that they can't do so. How important is it for some organisation to work with these people, especially when they're perhaps kicking off and perhaps frightening other people?
I think it's vital that there is a backup and support for both sides, because it is frightening for people who don't know how to handle it. And it's just as frightening for the caregivers of those people who are like that. When I lost Jenny, it wasn't her first attempt, and it's absolutely mind-boggling trying to deal with it. And Jenny was depressive. She wasn't acting really extremely abnormally. She was just acting out and wanting to leave the planet. So anybody that's difficult to reason with to that degree out on the street, there definitely without a doubt, if there could be associations that could be called in to facilitate and help both sides, help the police, because I just think the police must find it really difficult not to cross that line all the time, because they're under fire all the time. So to help them, to help the person themselves, and to help the people around. And there are people who are very adept at that. I don't know where you'd find them, but I know they're out there.
And Dianne, how does it work in America? I mean, if someone is showing mental health issues outdoors in some way, acting up, or you know, are the police normally called, or how does it work?
Well, every state is different and has different laws on how to handle it. I know in our city, in Austin, not that I'm around a lot of this, but generally people would call 911 and describe what's happening. And then the person taking the call would, the dispatcher would send it to the proper people. Most likely you would see the police as well as EMS coming, first responders, so that they can assess the problem and get it at hand. A lot of people nowadays are so afraid of how people will start things and just want to film it instead of step in and help, and or afraid that they'll get mugged if they do try to help. So it's a real problem. And there's also a problem here that we have where so many people are defund the police, but yet they still want the police to come and help them. So it's a mixed baggage, actually. It's very sad.
No, I get that. Coming back to Helena again, I mean, there was a case this week, Helena, where a 91-year-old woman was spit mask put over her head and almost tasered, 91 years old, because she was fighting against her carer outside. How do you feel about things like that? Because, you know, should the police get involved like that, or should there be other services that really should take over from what the police are doing?
I mean, the lady in question that you're talking about, she has dementia, and you know what happened. She had some kind of spit mask put on her because I think she'd spat. I don't know what the police person, as far as I know, I haven't looked into this case hugely, but it should have been known that she had dementia, because there are ways of dealing with people. You know, I think talking about mental health, wellness, you know, we are incredibly underfunded, and they're really, you know, we have so many people on the waiting list to get help, and there's not enough people to give it. There's not enough beds. There's not enough. You know, it's an awful situation we're in. I mean, I don't have the answer there, but obviously the police as a force will not be trained up to help in these situations. So I think are the wrong people, and obviously they could not take on board as well a plethora of people. You know, there are amazing charities out there, Mind. There's lots of them that can help. There's lots of texting services. You can ring and get help. And I think nowadays, especially now, and with younger people too, and with the help of the royal family, Princess of Wales, you know, there's also the preventative measures. It's looking at prevention from an early age, rather than what do we do when, you know, when it's too late. It's such a huge subject that we're talking about here, and you know, this will go on for months, I think. But I think you know, it would be lovely to hear from Janetta to find out more about what she's doing. Really, I'd love that, if that's okay.
Yeah, I was just going to ask so Janetta, you know, with a situation like that elderly lady, how would that first of all be handled in Africa? You know, would they have a more sympathetic view, or how do you think it would happen?
Well, before we get into this, I've just seen we have a comment from some of our people, and the latest one is from Rebecca Vigas, and she's saying, to add to what we're saying, if first responders are not trained to help people in mental crisis, they'll do nothing to help. And education and training is needed. And as you were saying, there's a lack of funds, Helena. Definitely here in Africa, there's a low tolerance level to something like that. They just don't know how to handle it. And the person is usually put away or put away quietly in their village up country. There are some government mental hospitals here that do their best, but it is, again, very limited with a great stigma attached to it. And we put on a theatrical production about 4 years ago here in Kenya called Insight. And that definitely helped people to feel safer to start expressing, but we only touched a tiny bit of the nation with it. There's a huge stigma here, and people don't talk about their mental health problems because they will definitely be put away. So it's a really difficult problem. But in terms of World Jenny's Day and what we're doing, and we'd like to do more with Insight production worldwide, but Jenny's Day itself is a series of events, and we're looking to now start doing a monthly seminar with performing arts and so on, where we give life skills with performing arts and arts every single month through World Jenny's Day's year. And we've also got various fundraisers, which we really look at using that get people to do things that will help their mental health. So this August, for the second year running, we're having a bike ride from Kilimanjaro to the coast of Kenya through 2 game parks, biking. We've got Karen Dark, who is a British gold Paralympist, joining us with a team of other people who are challenged as well, and a film crew. And we've got a lady called Kim Chown, who has a story of her own, which is also for another time, but she has been one of our biggest advocates, and she has actually approached Rishi Sunak. And this week we got a letter from Rishi saying how much he admires what we're doing, World Jenny's Day and the fundraisers and so on. Personal letter from him. So it's growing. And in fact, Karen decided to take it one step further. And she and that team are then going to the Tanzanian side of Kilimanjaro straight after our bike ride. And she is cycling. She's had a special cycle made by the Israelis. It's a trike, and she used it in December to go across the Antarctic with a film crew. She's the only person to cycle the Antarctic. She's cycling up Kilimanjaro to the summit with these other people. I believe one of them is almost blind, and coming down again. And they're taking that film, and we're putting it through. It'll be flighted in a cinema in London, in Manchester and Edinburgh in January by the looks of it. So that's bringing great awareness out of the performing arts and arts, because not everybody is in alignment with that. So we understood that having people who love exercising, this was a wonderful way, and we're fundraising with it at the same time. Then on Jenny's birthday, the 25th of September, we're doing 5 hours of allowing people to step forward who have been where we're talking about and have success stories and how that's happened. And we're going to talk hobbies and how to look for new hobbies. And we're all solution based on the 25th, rather than sitting talking about broken people and how to fix them. Because I believe we all feel compromised at some time in our life. It's not something unusual. It's human. And when we can change that conversation, that it's normal and natural to feel like this, but what can we do to help you through? That to me is the answer. And then, of course, on the day itself, we've got this big gala evening with celebrities where we're going to carry on performing, and it's going to carry on being streamed, and we'll have the closing ceremony in London. And to me, the more we can do in this year or every year of World Jenny's Day, leaving a legacy that's bigger than me and Jenny, then that's what this is all about.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Joseph. Dianne, just very quickly, because I know we're getting short of time now, I just wondered how important would it be to even create a children's book that explains perhaps mental health more to children and gives them, because obviously it must be very, really a situation if children see their parents with mental health issues. Is that sort of something you'd ever thought about?
No, I haven't thought about that. I think it's a very delicate situation and everybody's kind of different. I think it would be wonderful. I know as a classroom educator, when I've had parents that had some difficulties going on and the little children are already talking about it. We're talking about kindergarten age, and that as a classroom teacher, you just talked about how life, things happen and everybody has ups and downs, and who's had a sad day, and people would raise their hands and we talk about how natural that is, so that child would not be, who is having parents having some difficulties, would not be teased or anything. So that's the only way I've handled it, but it'd be interesting for an author who has a greater understanding of how to tackle that issue in a gentle way, and a children's book would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Good idea.
So, bless you. So we're almost out of time. I've been told to clock watch this afternoon as well. So I'm making sure everybody's getting them up. So if I can, we're just rounding up now. So Helena, can I start off with you? What are your last thoughts today?
I would love to know from Janetta shortly what she feels everybody could do to help her and help her event coming up. What's best way forward here, and so we can all get it out there and all talk about it. So we'll hear that shortly. I loved hearing, it makes my heart sing when talking about mental health wellness and the preventative things, and the simple things that people can do to help themselves, because everyone has mental health, and sometimes we can all feel slightly anxious. It's just different stages, and there are so many things you can do, like just get out and go for a walk and all the things that Janetta was saying, and that really, really helps. But just something that I just feel it's something important to say, because there's been so many things happening since COVID. Well, personally with myself and family and various things. And I think everyone has their own secret recipe for joy, their own personal recipe. And I just think, once you know what that is, just get out and do it. A little bit of joy that you can find every day, it's so important. Thank you, and thank you to everyone. It's been a great day, great show.
And Dianne, I know you're a great outsider as well, and you always appear to me to be most joyous, most happy. How do you manage to do that?
Singing, la, 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 la. There you go. No, I just want to reiterate what Helena said. It'd be wonderful to know how everyone listening, as well as ourselves, can help support World Jenny's Day. And Helena's absolutely right. Find joy, and if whether it's walking, running, watching the birds, just lay down in the grass and watch the clouds go by. There's all kinds of ways to just make your heart sing. And sometimes it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, especially if you just had a spat with somebody, but your brain will just calm down when you're laying in the grass, and it feels so good. So have a joyous day. You
make life sound so sunny. And Janetta, yes, give us a more of an overview of how we can actually help you on World Jenny's Day.
Oh, thank you to the three of you. I really appreciate this. There are many ways, because it is so multifaceted. So if you or others would like to join us in Africa, in Kenya, for a trip of a lifetime. We're going to have Karen talk on a daily basis each day that we're there. If you'd like to know more about that, oh, thank you. This is wonderful. Here's our website. And if you'd like to know more about that, you can get hold of us on worldjennysday.com. That's the website there. There's a page there that's called fundraising, and it's all about that. So if you would like to get involved with that, we'd love to have you there. I'd love to personally meet you. I'm going to be there. Here you can see there's Karen announcing that Karen, there's her trike on the right there, going up Mount Kilimanjaro. We've got a bit of a fundraiser there as well, matching the height of the mountain with pounds fundraising. There is where we're starting and where we're ending on the Kenyan map. On the actual bike ride on the Kenyan side of Kilimanjaro. And the nice thing is, you don't have to be a cyclist. You don't have to cycle. You could just go along for the safari, or you could decide to cycle. By the way, that's me cycling there, who doesn't cycle, and I won't be cycling this year. But I just decided to brave it and cycle. That's last year's ride through Savo. And you can see there's backup there. Whenever I got tired, I would just get out and say, no, I'm getting back into, and they just load my bike back onto the rack. So you can ride or not ride, or ride a little bit or a lot or whatever. And then there are medals, and there's the most wonderful handmade butterfly trophy that's been made by a local Kenyan. There it is. It's enormous. It's about this big. Looks small there, but and that's a floating trophy for the person that raises the most money. So if that's the side you'd like to get involved with, we'd be delighted to have you join us. There's more about the whole safari there in the website and how to book. If you are interested in being part of World Jenny's Day on the day, we're looking for a team to make a film for us so that we can flight it on the backstory and where World Jenny's Day is going and its big legacy. If you're a videographer, we would love you to join us on this as well. If you're a performer, we've got performances coming from all over the world, so you can be anywhere right now. Contact us. We would love to have you as part of our performers, whether you're a dancer, a singer, a choir, a magician, whatever you are. Contact us, and as much help and support from those with clout on the day itself at the gala evening in London. To make it the magnificent evening it is going to be. Any bit of help, support would be amazing. So thank you.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'm sure all of us agree that this is a very well and worthy cause to actually support at the same time. So for myself today, well, when I first started the show, it was gloomy, it was slightly overcast. And do you know what, Janetta, you brought the sunshine into my room as well now. It's now sunny, would you believe? So that hopefully that's a good sign for World Jenny's Day and for anybody who right now may be having some issues in their lives and are seeking some sunshine. So I hope, again, we will be back again next week with the show. Apologies for today. It's been quite an exciting day, to say the least. The old battery and the old heart will be going 16 to the dozen, but it seems to have worked out in the end. Excuse me as well, because I've just had a frozen screen all afternoon. So I just hope everybody's out there at the same time. So if I can thank everybody for coming on the show today. I know JACALYN is very grateful as well for continuing with such a great show that we're doing right now. And as always, we will see you again next week. Take care and have a great day.